Welcome to Halo Halo. Today we take you to the city of Long Beach to Gladys Avenue Urban Farm, and we chat with Chef Gary Menez of Le Comptoir restaurant. Chef Gary actually grows all of his vegetables right here and then serves it at the restaurant in K-Town. Today we chat with him, talk about his upbringing, and he shares his story of serving and growing his own vegetables. But first, nothing would have been possible without the help of Captain Charles Moore of Algalita and also the Long Beach City Food Co-op.
Captain Charles Moore is the founder of Long Beach Organic, where he would take vacant lots and turn them into community gardens. Captain Moore is also the founder of Algalita, a company that studies plastic pollution in the world. He's been featured on Nightline, The Wall Street Journal, CNN, and TED Talks.
My business was furniture repair, upholstery, and refinishing, and that's what we do here still, next to this garden, which is now called the Gladys Avenue Urban Farm. And we began providing vegetables for the Long Beach Food Co-op, and eventually Chef Gary Menez took over the property for a farm-to-table operation in which he grows the vegetables for his restaurant in Los Angeles. I established Long Beach Organic to turn vacant lots, which were being a problem in Long Beach, into community gardens, both for organic agriculture and to protect the ocean, because ocean was suffering from what we call urban slobber. This is the runoff of all the oil and pet waste and fertilizers that people use on their lawns was being washed into the ocean because there's nothing to absorb it. By putting all this mulch on the soil, you create a sponge for all these oily pollutants that can then percolate into the soil and be converted into harmless compounds by the fungus and bacteria and insects, the FBI. So the concept was organic agriculture on land will protect life in the ocean. The way to save the seas is to treat the land organically. That was the concept behind the founding of two organizations at the same time. So I'm very pleased that this concept is catching on, that the farm-to-table movement, as so well exemplified by Chef Gary Menez and his operation, is part of that circular economy. Here he can take the food waste from his restaurant, return it to the garden where he produces the vegetables for his restaurant, and actually improve the soil, make better food. His food will not be matched by any other restaurant because 30 years of organic maintenance of this soil has created a habitat that is unmatched anywhere else in Los Angeles, and that habitat produces the greatest flavor, the greatest nutrients, and the greatest variety of produce possible. So this whole concept of the circular economy has benefits for us as people, as human beings. It makes our lives more aesthetically pleasing, a better environment for us as human beings. So I'd like to thank Gary for doing that and offer him my support and continued admiration for his ability to create this wonderful circular economy here in my hometown. I'm a third-generation Long Beach resident, and I'm really glad that Long Beach is now becoming such an example for the rest of the country and the rest of the state.
Captain Charles Moore is right. Patrons at Chef Gary Menez's Le Comptoir establishment rave about his tasty dishes. But Chef Gary didn't pursue his passion for food and cooking in the beginning.
Because I know growing up, you didn't really vision yourself to be growing your own vegetables, to be having your own restaurant, to be a chef. You're actually a business major, right?
That's
How
correct.
did it all come into fruition?
Well, growing up as a kid, we would always be in either my grandparents' backyard or our backyard, or in some garden where my grandparents were growing their vegetables for themselves and for local markets, ethnic markets. So I was always around dirt. I was always around bugs, and I said, I never want to do this. There's bees everywhere. We would always go to different nurseries. We'd go to Armstrong's and H&H, and I used to tell, they would have to bribe me to go there. Yeah, so, well, you know, feed you some Taco Bell if you go, and that was the height of culinary cuisine when I was little. So I I grew up in this, and
How'd you learn how to cook?
well, you know, it all starts with you know, your parents cooking and
Yeah.
your grandparents cooking, and getting positive reinforcement from them, or negative.
Right.
You know, and
Was it always Filipino dishes, or was it a combination?
No, it was a combination of a lot of things, and experiences, not just in the home, but
Right.
my parents, or my dad was in the service in the Coast Guard.
Right.
So we grew up in Catanzaro Lido, which is in the Calabria region of Italy.
Okay.
So we ate a lot of different, you know, freshly bottled, because they didn't can
Right.
their tomatoes.
Right.
So when tomatoes were ripe,
Wow.
you know, the whole apartment complex, all the ladies would get together and can the
just
tomatoes, or put it in bottles, and
Right.
that was my first experience of a tomato sauce. Can you
Wow.
imagine? I was very lucky in that sense that
Right.
I've got those life experiences early. These
Yes.
food experiences, not just
Yeah.
life, but food experiences. And then, you know, my grandparents making, you know, like adobo, and you could smell
yeah, I
smell the
love
vinegar
that.
in the air, or they're making just anything, even just roasting chicken, and then a pot of rice is boiling, or when you walk into the house and you smell the garlic and the
Garlic,
ginger.
that's my favorite.
The garlic
one.
and the
Garlic and the ginger. I cook almost everything with garlic and ginger.
It's intoxicating.
Right.
So
You-
all those memories, and all those things just culminated into
And you
into
have
what we do.
quite an experience working at various restaurants. Now
Yes.
tell me the long list, like Patina.
No, when I first wanted to cook, I wanted to go to culinary school, and so at the CIA, which is the most prestigious one, they
Right.
require 3 months of cooking experience. I didn't have any, but I was going to college at the time, so I said, well, why don't I, to get work experience, why don't I just go to the best places and see if they'll accept me? So
Right.
with resume in hand, I was ready to go to Lingerie, Spago, and Patina.
Wow.
And that was in 1995. And Patina was the first restaurant I hit because it was closest to my house. So I was gonna go there, Lingerie, and then Spago on Sunset.
Right.
Well, when I got to Patina and I talked to the chef de cuisine, Michael Otsuka, he's a great chef.
Right.
He told me he never went to culinary school, and that he
Oh.
just came back from Michel Bras, which is a 3-star Michelin restaurant in the Languedoc region. He said, if you stay with me for 5 years, you'll never have to go to culinary school, save your money, buy a lot of books, eat out as much as you can.
Oh.
He said, you don't need any of that, I'll train you.
Right.
Being here, this is the best restaurant in LA. You might as well. So
Right.
I started working for free.
Wow.
Yeah, and
And
that
you
lasted,
gained all that experience.
and that lasted
right?
for 2 years. So I was able to graduate from college, and then also just keep cooking. And I realized that was the path.
Yeah.
And
was it.
that's how I started. And wanting to be a chef, that also came across because I liked feeding people,
Right.
and I like their reactions.
I was gonna
So 'cause I usually don't like what I cook.
What?
I taste it and make sure it's done seasoned, it's seasoned properly. But the whole act of cooking for someone and feeding them,
Yeah.
and then them being happy, that is masochistic, right? Or something.
No, that's giving.
Yes.
That's being very giving. Are you kidding me? What you do here at the farm and then taking it to your restaurant? Yeah.
Well, I guess that it comes from that, but
Yeah.
it's
What?
at the end of the day, it is just that act of cooking and them receiving it,
Right.
and getting pleasure out of them having a pleasurable time eating it. You can't beat it.
Right?
You can taste Chef Gary Menez's delicious farm-to-table dishes with a 7-course meal on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at his restaurant, Le Comptoir, which is located inside the Hotel Normandy in Los Angeles. The restaurant only seats 10 people, so be sure to make your reservations early.